Okay, let's do a code demo. What we're going to do here is we're going to populate the claims that are coming to us from Azure App Service Security, aka EasyAuth. We're going to grab those headers and we're going to populate that claims collection for the current user, and we're going to do this using custom middleware. Okay, we're here in our sample application and we're on the home page of the app. Now, because of the way that we have App Service Security configured, well, since we can access the application, that means that we were able to log in, which means that Azure App Service Security was able to authenticate us and it let us into the application. But here in the application thinks that we're not logged in, but we're definitely logged in. Let's go to Security Summary. And remember, this is iterating over the list of claims and cookies and headers that we have for our current request. The claims are empty, so claims-based security is not being populated, but we've got our headers. And if we scroll down, we have all the XMS client headers and the XMS headers that are coming to us from App Service Security. Plus we've got the cookie for App Service Auth Session. So we're logged in and the information is right there, but our claims are empty. So we need to do something to actually populate the claims in our application. And to do that, we're going to use a piece of custom middleware. So right here in the sample application, I've got a folder called Middleware. And if I open that up, I've already created a class called Populate Claims Middleware. So this class implements the interface iMiddleware, and that has a method on it called invoke async. So we implement the invoke async. And what our goal is we're going to use that HTTP context to populate the claims based off of the information that's available to us. So first off, you're going to notice that I've created an empty list of claims. So claim is a type from .NET Core, system.security.claims, and we want to create a list of claims for the current user. And that calls the populate claims method right here. And we've got a method called add claims from header. So let's go and drill into that add claims from header method. Now this method might look a little bit jumbled, but it's actually pretty straightforward. So I've declared a bunch of constants in security constants that allows us to just access these headers that are created for us. So the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to get the identity provider header. So we're going to get the value off of that, and we don't really care about what the value is exactly. We just want to know that it's there. If it's not there, it means that we're not logged in using EasyAuth, and then we're just going to exit out of this middleware. If it's not null, we're going to keep on going. We're going to get another header. We're going to get the principal ID. That's going to give us the identity header. And then we're going to get the name header. And then we're going to turn these into claims. So we'll throw a bunch of different claims in here. And then we're going to do this one for the name header. And we're going to use claimtypes.name. So claimtypes.name gives us a bunch of standard named claims. This is coming to us from .NET. And we're going to name that claim a certain thing. So remember, claims are key value pairs. So we put that in, and we're adding that into our list of claims. So let's bounce back out again. So we called add claims from header. And then the next thing we need to do is we need to populate the user for the request. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to create a new instance of claims identity. So remember, identity and principal. Identity is who are you, and principal is what can you do. So we're going to call the constructor for claims identity. We're going to pass it our list of claims that we've created, and we're going to say that our login provider, our security provider, is EasyAuth. You can change this to whatever you want it to be. Next thing, we create a claims principal object. That claims principal is going to wrap our identity, which in turn wraps our claims. And then we're going to set context.user. So HTTP context.user, that is the property on HTTP context that represents the current logged in user for the application. So bouncing back up to our invoke async method. So we created a list of claims, we populated it, and now we're done. So we call the next delegate on our middleware, and that's it for our middleware implementation. So the next thing we need to do is we need to hook it into our ASP.NET execution pipeline. And we're going to do that by going to startup.cs. So we need to register the type for our middleware. So you remember that ASP.NET Core uses dependency injection for just about everything. So we need to go and register some types so that the dependency injection engine actually knows about the types that we care about. So at line 29, we're registering the type of Populate Claims middleware. Now let's go down a little bit further. And we've got this block right here. The important thing to know is that we're saying use middleware. So this says put this middleware into the execution pipeline. So we say app.useMiddleware, and that's it. And now that's going to be called as part of the execution of our requests. This other stuff here is actually kind of a cool feature of .NET Core and Azure App Services. And well, what we're doing is we're reading the configuration of our application. This isn't really middleware. This is more how I crafted the demo. So we're looking to see, is security populate claims value set to true? So that's coming from a config value, and that's in appsettings.json. If this value is set to true, it's going to turn on the populate claims middleware, and if not, it's not going to turn that on. Now, you might be thinking, does this mean that we need to go and recompile our application with appsettings.json populate claims middleware turned on and then redeploy? And the answer is no. What's really, really cool about Azure App Services is that you can specify settings values in the Azure portal, and those will override the values that are in your appsettings.json. So since I have already deployed this application, I can go into my portal and set a value for security populate claims. So right here, it says not logged in because, well, we haven't turned on that middleware yet. But let's go to the portal. We're into our application, and now we're going to go to configuration. So this lets us put all kinds of things in here, override connection strings and whatnot. The one we care about is this value right here. And I'm going to turn on show values. And right now you can see that security populate claims is set to false. Now you might be thinking, why does it say security __ populate claims when over here in the application code, it says security : populate claims? Well, that's just a difference between hosting your application on a Windows-based app service versus a Linux-based app service. If it's Windows-based, you're going to put security : populate claims into this value right here. And if it's Linux, that colon just gets turned into a double underscore. So security : populate claims, and let's change this value to true. Hit OK, click Save. That updated the settings and it restarted the application. So now that value is going to override whatever is in our appsettings.json. So let's go back to the application and let's hit reload. And now we've got a bunch of stuff that's showing up here. It's saying we're logged in, and if we go to security summary, that middleware is executing and it's populating all these claims based off the headers we're getting from App Service Security. Pretty cool, huh? All right. So that is how we can use middleware to populate some claims, and how we can use middleware to hook into Azure App Service Security in order to start doing some custom stuff with our current user. Okay, next up, let's talk about some more complex app service security scenarios and how you can handle that with custom code.